Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Activity Call Live. Now let's hear from our special guest host, Jason Mathis.
What's up, Alliance Nation, and welcome to your Friday Activity Call, your spooktacular Friday Activity Call the day after Halloween. Man, we got a great call today on how to talk to new agents, how to nudge them, how to help them out, how to get in their mind and get them right. I just want to give a thank you to Andy and Jane Albright for starting the Alliance and staying strong and setting it up for a guy like me and Olga and my wife to get into something like this. You know, it's absolutely amazing, the opportunity that's out there with the Alliance. I mean, I just look at what it's done for us, and then I see these awesome people and everybody we've touched with the Alliance. I mean, it's crazy to me to just remember how my wife got started in the Alliance. Andy Riddle simply posted on the Facebook. The thread is thin how you change somebody's life. He posted on the Facebook, and that's how he found Team Mathis. You know, and then I posted on the Craigslist, and that's how the Dream Team was found. And we have many, many stories like that. And, you know, I remember Olga dragging me to these company training events at the Alliance in Jacksonville. And then, you know, she dragged me to these national training events. And on today's call, you know, we're going to talk about how do you find good people? How do you work with good people? How do you nudge them? How do you figure it out? You know, like, how did I figure it out? Because here, you know, have you ever figured something out in your life? Like, have you ever figured it out? Like, I know this to be true, and nobody can move me off of it, right? Nobody can move me off of it. So I remember I was a basketball phenom player from the 2nd grade to the 6th grade. That's what I wanted to be, a pro basketball player. And, you know, I was playing basketball, and I finally played basketball against a really good guy. He ended up playing in the NBA, won the slam dunk contest, and playing against him. And guess what I finally really figured out? I figured out that I wasn't NBA material when I played against D. Brown, pickup ball in Jacksonville, Florida. That's what I figured out. So I knew something, and then I figured out the real story. Like, haven't you ever been in life and you're like, man, if someone would just tell me the secret, if I could just know the secret, if I could just figure it out, if someone would just tell me, like, you know, if I could just talk to Bill Gates or Elon Musk and have him coach me and get all of his secrets, or the Oracle from Omaha, right? If I could just talk to them and have them work with me, I could learn something that nobody else knows and go figure something out and make my dream come true. Whatever your dream is, right? Whatever your dream is. I remember when Olga got her license. She finally passed it on the 3rd attempt. And I was like, what did I know for sure? I was like, oh my God, there's no way. There's no way that Olga, a luggage handler, a laborer, is what she did for a living. She moved heavy object A at point A, heavy object to point B, right? That's what she did for a living, guys. If you ever look out of your plane window and you see those people they drive that little caboose around with all those suitcases on it, she would do that, jump out, take those suitcases, put them on the conveyor belt. Sometimes she'd do that. Sometimes she'd be in the belly of that airplane stacking those suitcases up. So if you ever had anything broke in Miami International Airport, it might have been Olga. That's what she did for 25 years. 25 years. So I knew that a luggage handler couldn't do it. She'd never run a business. She'd never sold anything. I knew I didn't want to do it because I myself had tried several businesses and they didn't work. I couldn't make a business work. When Olga got into the alliance, I was working at Mama Bammel, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Corporate America, Cubeland, USA. And Olga started this adventure with the alliance. And Olga, guess what Olga started to figure out? She started to figure out stuff she didn't know. She thought this was true, and it ended up being not true. And then she found out that this was actually the reality. When she got a peek, when she saw the wizard, when she actually got to talk to the wizard behind the curtain, she found out some other things in life were actually true. So when she got her license, started having some success, she was dragging me to the alliance events. And I was like, oh my God, this system, guys, this blows my mind. This system, think about this, okay? Took a luggage handler, has a GED, never went to college, doesn't have a 2-year degree or 4-year degree, and turned her into the #1 elite lady in the nation, making over $9,000 a month. And here I am at Corporate America, Cubeland, USA, not liking my job, wanting to do something different, but had made a decision because I knew stuff. I knew stuff to be true in my mind at the time and decided to stay there. And when she started having success, I was like, you know what? Maybe what I know ain't true. And then I read this book here. And in this book that Andy Albright wrote, he says, and you know how these gurus are, like Guru A or B or anybody of these gurus, they'll train you, but it's $5,000 for a weekend, or come to their seminar, it's $1,500, and then they sell you a 3-day package for $6,000. He says in this book that he's trained a lot of great people like Andy Riddle, Fitz, Stephen Davies, Levin Tovich, Katz. But if you want to get training from him, call his office, and it's free. And I was like, no, he don't do that. He's way too big. He's got too much money. There's just no, see, I knew something. I knew that he couldn't do that. It just made no sense. It was a non-truth. He wrote the book a long time ago. It's not part of his business model anymore. He could do it in the beginning, but not anymore. And I'm like, well, he said it in a book. And he also said on one of the calls, when I'm talking on the TWC or the activity call, you should act as if I'm talking directly to you. And I said, huh. And so I called his office. And I said, hey, Mr. Albright said in his book, he'll train anybody. And I got 80 hours of PTO. I can come up there anytime Mr. Albright wants to train me. And they said, hold on. And they came back and they said, we got you scheduled in for this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I drove up Sunday. They said, be at the office at 8:30 in the morning. I was there at 8:30. And I sat down in Andy's office. He had a cup of coffee. And this is what he said to me. He goes, Jason, I really appreciate you driving. They tell me you live down there in Florida, Jacksonville, right? I said, yeah. He said, I really appreciate you driving up here, and you're working at the bank or something. Yeah, I'm working full time, man. I appreciate you taking the time off work and losing that income and the wear and tear on the car and the hotel expense and all the expenses and the time away from the family to come up here. Without you, I wouldn't have any work to do. So I really appreciate it, you putting me to work today. can we do this, Jason? If you can believe somehow, right? If you can believe everything I'm getting ready to tell you is true and accurate, and I don't got to explain to you why your idea over here won't work, and this idea here won't work, and doing it this way won't work, but you just take everything I say and just somehow make a magical leap of faith, you'll get more from here into there. And he pointed at my head. And he goes, can we do that? And if you've ever been to the Alliance headquarters, you know, you can fit 3 or 4 Walmarts in there. Andy has helped thousands and thousands of agency owners make millions of dollars. And I was like, yes, sir. And over the next 3 days, I got world-class training from Andy Albright, and it changed my life. It absolutely changed my life. I got a peek. I saw the wizard. I saw the wizard behind the curtain. And what I found out is he's normal, just like me and you. He works. He works hard. He gets out there and gets after it. He doesn't let little things or big things stop him. And that's what I saw. I saw him talking to this agent and this situation and that situation, how to overcome this. And he'd get off the call and say, you see how I talked to this agent here? I've known that agent for 10 years. And it was a very direct, a very pointed conversation, and just hammering on him in a positively direct way. Then another agent would call, and he would just sit there and listen a lot, getting to know that agent, asking questions, and the agent would talk. 90% of that call, the agent was talking. Andy was doing very little coaching. He was understanding. He'd get off that call, and he's like, you see the difference, and this is why I did the difference. You know, and I was like, I'll be your Huckleberry. You know what I mean? Like, if you're willing to train me, I'm willing to be trained. You know, and if you would have told me, you know, that my wife started out part-time, so I said part-time agent. Then she went full-time. She had 1 agent in her agency. Then she recruited me, so we had 1.5 agents. And then I went full-time, right? And then learning how to work in the business with your spouse is tricky. Learning how to work with your spouse is tricky. One of the things that Andy was telling me in that training was that you're looking for people that know how to read a dagnum resume, right? Like, if they don't know how to read the Alliance resume, what I call the big 3 now, Albright, Brian Adams, and Steve Young, if they can't read that resume and see what those 3 guys have put together and respect that, I'm just like, who's coaching you? Like, who are you going to allow to coach you? I recently ran into a situation in my agency. It was so funny. I don't know. It's sad, actually, but I got to laugh about it a little bit. The agent called me, and she's like, I got this situation and blah, blah, blah. And goes on for 7 or 8 minutes. And I'm like, you know what, you're I really want to help you. You have become what the carriers term a nomadic agent. You're bouncing and bouncing around. We are your 4th stop. If you can't find a coach or a mentor, this past history will repeat itself. It is a great indicator of how your future and what it will look like, what it will be. And I'm willing to coach you in the Alliance system. That's what I think would really help you best. Who's currently coaching you in the Alliance? Who's currently coaching you in your insurance endeavors, in building this your dream, like you want to reach, whatever your dream is? Could be part-time, could be full-time, whatever your dream is. And she wouldn't answer the question. And the fourth time I asked it, she said, I'm coaching myself. And that's probably the worst person in the world to coach you. It's kind of like a lawyer who represents himself. It's the worst person to represent you is yourself. The worst person to coach you is probably you. Especially in the beginning. And even more so when you start making $250,000. Because when you start making $250,000 or $300,000 or $400,000, you think you got it all figured out. I remember I was talking with Albright years ago, and he says, hey, Bo, how much you make with us last month? And I was like, I don't know, about $25,000. He goes, oh, man, yeah. You know, I remember when I was making that little bit of money, and it just PO'd me. And I was thinking, oh my God, I like this guy. So, guys, when you recruit, you're looking for people that are grateful, humble, and are looking for a great coach and can read a resume. You're not looking for people that want to be fixed. You know, you're looking for people that want to get out of their dysfunction and get out of their own way. What I'll tell you is when Olga joined this business, this is crazy. When Olga wanted to come to America and live the American dream, this was her dream, and her dream ended up being, guys, and she had a pretty daggum great life. 25 years of throwing bags. 25 years she gave that company. Yes, it's crazy. Her pension, $1,700 a month for 10 years. It just went, and we got that. And then a month ago, it went down to $740 a month. If she dies, I get nothing. It's crazy. 25 years, 2 shoulder surgeries, tore up her hips. Like, it's just crazy what is out there if you don't learn these secrets or get someone who can tell you the secrets and the shortcuts. You know, Billy, bring them all up. Let's bring up these awesome people. We got Andres on the call, Rio, and an awesome couple, Melody and Colin. If you can bring them on. What's up, guys? How you guys doing today?
Hey, Jason.
Doing great.
Hey. Rio. Andres, I'm going to start off with you. You know, I met you not long ago, and tell the Alliance Nation is interested to know, Andres, how do you pronounce your last name, sir?
Peraza.
Peraza?
Yeah.
Nailed it, didn't I? Yeah,
Good.
so that's like a Spanish name, right?
Yeah.
All right, so tell the Alliance, you know, a little bit about yourself, how old you are, your educational experience, what kind of work you do, what's your education level, and how the Alliance found you.
All right. Well, right now I'm 18 years old. I just recently graduated high school, actually, and I was working part-time at UFIT. And so as I was starting college around that time, I'm in my first year right now. I'm in for business management, so I'm going for that. But then what happened was I was actually approached by a different company, Primerica. You guys might have heard of them. And as I started, I actually was interested. I was very interested, but I took it as a sign because that same day I went to front desk at UFIT, and a guy that I know that he does insurance, he was talking about Primerica. He brought it up randomly, and he was saying how, you know, they're not really good, blah, blah, blah. And then I told him, I'm like, oh, they approached me. What do you think? What should I do? And he's like, I got you. Call this guy. And then he gave me Jason's number. And then that's how I got in contact with Jason. I believe he called me, and it was on that Thursday. It was on the Thursday of a hotspot. And then he called me. He's like, you got to come tonight. And then I was like, well, I guess I got to go tonight. And then that night I went over to the hotspot. I met Jason. I met Olga. Met Erica, Liv, all these great people that are helping me and coaching me. And I'm here today. And just recently, I made my first 2 sales, not including my own, with Erica's help. yeah,
We count
super
those.
excited.
You get paid on your own sales, so you made 3 sales.
Yeah, of course, yeah, very.
Well, so you're working at UFIT part-time. You're in college, business management. Somebody at Primerica approached you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You said you were thinking about insurance prior to the Primerica approaching you?
No. It actually, that's what sparked my interest, because I saw the potential in that industry through them. But then, it was not the vibe, I guess.
So
I feel like
somebody
they
at
didn't have that kind of like
Primerica,
mentorship.
so someone at Primerica approached you and it sparked
Yeah.
your interest. And then some guy I knew was at the gym you work at and said, hey, I know some dude. I know a dude, which happened to be me, this dude. And he gave me your number, and somehow we connected. We talked on the phone, and then you went to one of our company overviews, this hotspot thing at the hotel.
Yeah.
And then you met the team.
Yeah. It's crazy how just after 2 months, it's already feeling like family. Like at first, it was just a room of strangers, and now it's like we're all in a.
What did you, so you're 18, right?
Yeah.
You're 18, right?
Yeah, me too.
One of the biggest lies being told to the American youth, man, is you got time.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. One of the biggest lies being told to young people like you, Andres and Rio, is you got time. When you get old like me at 55, it's like TikTok, baby. Friends get old, they get beat up, they start dying of cancer, stroke, heart attacks. You're like, dude, he was only 46. And use times like this. So don't believe it. You're young, Andres. You got time. No, it's go time, baby. It's go time. What did you like about the insurance thing that you heard or saw at that company overview? What did you like about it that interests you to go into class, spend the money, get into class, get out of class? What interests you to want to get in this business?
Well, definitely, I'd have to start with the results I was seeing, especially from first I met Olivia, and I saw the amount she was making. I was like, wow, she's doing very good. And she told me about Erica. She wasn't at the first meeting. And then I met Erica in the second meeting, and she can do it. Why can't I do it? Like, what makes us different? And if she's the one teaching me and leading me, I know that I'll be able to achieve.
All right. You're cutting in and out. I'm gonna. Yeah, you're cutting in and out. I don't know if you can get closer to.
And also you, Jason, of course. Like seeing you build.
Yeah, no, I'm saying you're cutting in and out, Andres. I'm going to jump over to Rio. Dude, keep rocking it out.
Okay.
I mean, what you're doing is awesome. You are listening to Olivia. You have looked at their resume. I remember, Andres, when I started talking, what I liked about you, Andres, is I knew someone was coaching you in your life because you called me up and said, hey, man, I read the contract and I got some questions, and you were asking some very, very good questions. And I said, Andres, these are all great questions. Who's coaching you? And you're like, my dad. And I was like, this guy comes from good stock. He's got a good mom and dad. And I know your dad makes money. And I was like, I like this guy because he knows, he doesn't know stuff. He knows what an 18-year-old knows, and he knows to go to his dad who knows more stuff. And your daddy looked at it and said, hey, ask the guy these questions and get the answer. And you did. You went back to your dad. You came back to me. You said, hey, look, I like all this and I'm ready to go forward. So you didn't, and that's what I did. I read that thing word for word. I was like, what am I getting into? Who are these people? What's up? So great job, Andres. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You did a really good job. Andres, I'll say this about Andres too, is that, you purchased a bunch of leads. Erica and Olivia said, hey, let's do this. You jumped on board. You weren't scared. You jumped on that. You immediately did that. So you're extremely coachable. I like one of the questions that you sent me, and maybe we'll be able to touch on it tonight.
Yes.
You said, how do I deal with the stress of falling short?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was one of your questions to me. And what I would tell you, Andres, is don't deal with it. Keep falling short. Because if you keep getting up and falling short, that means you're still alive, baby. You get another shot. Like, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. Like, I know this about you're coachable. Erica was telling me that she gave you that book to read and you read it in like a day.
Yeah.
You know, having that paradigm shift, like, why would you want to go for no? Because every no is closer to a yes. You know, here's what I know about Andy Riddle and Andy Albright and Brian Adams and Steve Young. They ain't perfect. There's only one dude that I know about that walked on water, and it ain't none of them three guys. It ain't me. It ain't Andres. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, I don't hold Albright, Riddle, Young, Adams to a standard of perfection because they're my guys. I know Steve Young's going to throw an interception sometime. I know Andy Albright's going to make an audible, and he's going to, he's like, man, after the play, we meet up as managers with him. He's like, dang, wrong audible, man. I should have called for Riddle to come out instead of Mathis. And we're going to be like, yeah, next time we're going to get it right. We'll do better on the next play. And you're doing the right thing by being teachable and coachable. Erica was saying that you're practicing the phone script. This is what she said about you, Andres. He has the want to, the WANTTO. So, I just, keep doing what you're doing. You went to the big event. You come to all the hot spots. Oh, and you came to a company mixer too. So Erica threw a shindig, a company mixer at my house. She said, hey, Andres, get a bunch of people together and bring all of your friends, get all them, and we have a good time. And I was here, Olga was here, and we just chilled out. We did very little work, right? But everything we bought was a write-off because for about, 15, 20 minutes, we were there for about 3 hours. We talked a little bit about what we do. And to the people you brought, we're like, hey, this is what we do. You might be interested. I don't know. Maybe it's for you. Maybe it ain't. You know what I mean? I'm just like, it could be. It might not be. I don't know. I don't know if it was you. You had one guy that was all in, and then about 5 or 6 days after the company mixer, he was all out, right? The blonde-headed kid. I don't know if it was you, but one of them that went there.
Huh.
Some will, some won't. So what? And don't get jaded on the so what. That's where people lose it. Thank you next. That's where you got to get. So, Andre, stay on the call. Just stay there.
Yeah.
Rio, my man. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing awesome, man. It's Friday activity call, Halloween edition. Took my grandson out last night. He was Superman. Kids have no fear, Rio. Kids have no fear. They don't care. They'll get out there, do it. They'll do things they want to do. You know what I mean? He threw up on himself on a car ride. He gets car sickness. I was like, oh, God, we're going to have to go home. I'm like, you want to go home? He's like, no. He had to go to Halloween and get the candy.
You want that candy?
Yeah. Will you have that kind of work ethic to get what you want? Not the candy, but to make dials. When a recruit quits on you, will you keep recruiting? You know what I mean? Like that type of get after it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Rio, the people are interested to know about Mr. Rio. Tell us about yourself, your education, what you did in high school, how you planned out your high school, what kind of work you do, and how the Alliance found you, buddy.
So high school was an interesting time period in my life. That's when high school is when I feel like I woke up. So like in 10th or 11th grade, I started like a creative agency, and then throughout high school, I was just selling throughout school, and then I met this teacher who knew I was like selling websites.
No, wait a minute. What is a creative agency?
Creative agency is like we do advertisement, Google SEO, lead generation, like website development. Like we do a lot of services for businesses. Like we worked with local businesses in the area at the time. I used to recruit. I recruited for my agency. I recruited students, like photographers, people who were good at graphics. So like at one point, it was just me just on the calls, closing deals, and I just sent the project to one person to do this, sent the project to the next person to do this, and then I met this teacher who brought me into the Alliance. He knew I was like really into this business stuff. Like it was in class and I was just closing deals. Like I'd be on Zoom calls in the back of class and I'll have my laptop, I have to turn like really low, have my AirPods in and just be like talking to them while the class is loud. And this teacher was like, the day before I moved to college, he was like, yo, come to the Alliance. This is something in your ballpark. Like, I know you're into like your creative agency, but this is 100 times easier. Plus, you're going to get passive residuals. Like, because the stuff I do is one and done unless you're on a retainer. So he was like, you should come check this out. I came, I saw Olivia, and Olivia alone was my convincing reason because like Olivia was young, hip, like she's like really young and hip. So, and she came to me and she was just Olivia. And I was like, she's making this much money? Yeah. So I talked to Olivia, and then I was only 17 when they brought me in, so I couldn't even start selling right away. I had to wait till I turned 18 to take my test. So October 3rd, I turned 18. The day before National Boot Camp, it was a Thursday, I took my test, I passed it, then I went to convention, and I talked to a bunch of people. And at first I was still skeptical because like I was in it for 3 months, and I still wasn't able to like make money. I was only recruiting. I actually paid for one of my friends to come to convention with me because I was like, dog, it's my first time. You have fresh eyes. Come check this out.
A good friend, like you're like, this guy's the perfect fit.
Yeah, I thought a lot of people were a perfect fit. I brought like a lot of people on. Only one agent. I have one agent who took the test, passed it, and was already like fast tracked. So I already have one person under me. But the guy I brought to convention, like he left midway, like the second day. Like I stuck to it. He wasn't asking questions. He wasn't there like with my mindset because I was there. I was asking people like I was like, how much money you made with the Alliance? Like straight up, and then. Instead of them telling me something, they pull out their phone, they show me how much money was deposited into their bank account. I was like, maybe this person's just here to like keep me here. So I asked like 3 more people, and it was the same thing. They were like, how old are you? I was like, I just turned 18. They were like, dude, stick to it. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
But now, when you were in high school, so you had one of your high school teachers turn you on to this. What did you do in high school with your education? Because when I got introduced to you, I was pretty impressed because I was not as focused as you. What did you do in high school with your college stuff?
In high school, like every single year, I took all college classes. Like I took all APs, all ACE, and like I was really locked in. Like my entire thing was like, if I go to college, like I'm trying to spend as little time as possible in college because I knew I wasn't really that passionate about college. So I was like, let me just do all this stuff in high school rather than just take a regular high school class. Like let me just take the college classes because at least I'm earning college credit and I'm not wasting my time. So I earned like 24 college credits, and then that applied over to college. I came to college.
While you're in high school, you got 24 credits for college. You were actually doing college stuff in high school.
Yeah, I got 24 credits. Well, that's an estimate. I believe I got more, but like my university only accepted 24.
That's good parenting, man. Your parents did a great job.
Yeah, my
that
parents
sounds like a buddy of mine, Adam Katz. You and Emily Katz. Did you speak with her? What'd she tell you?
I spoke with Emily. Me and Emily had like a really similar situation. So like we just calling her, she was really useful. She was like, yeah, I was in your position. Like when I was in my agency, like time management, she told me like, yeah, you really need to listen to your uplines, like before you make any crazy decisions. And like, she was giving me really good advice. And I was like, okay, I'll just listen to her. And I was like, what are you doing now? Like, I wanted to make sure like she was still in the Alliance. And she was like, yeah, the Alliance is my life. Like I graduated, but I still do the Alliance. I was like, okay. that was all the confirmation I needed, because like she was in my exact same position, and now like she has a free life. Like she only does the Alliance because of the freedom she gets. Like someone with my perspective like that, like if she's doing the Alliance, and I felt like I should have stick to the Alliance.
Wow. So you had a friend, you spent all this money, you're like, this is my guy, like, and you paid for that, and then he dipped out at the National Boot Camp.
Yeah, he couldn't take it for some reason. Like, and it wasn't even anything bad. It was just the breakout rooms. And if anything, like you could leave at any point to get water. You could eat. There were brownies all like scattered around the room. Like every time I got bored, I just went out, got a brownie, came back in, sit down, and listen to whoever. And I was like, dude, you could have done the same thing. Like it wasn't really that bad. So, like his loss, like, you can't. I realized that you can't.
I would tell you is don't recruit people like him. Recruit the opposite.
I know.
Now I know that you've been working with Olivia and Erica. What's your like having that mentorship from Olivia? What's it been like working with her? How comfortable does it make you feel? Like how has that affected your ramp up and with us?
First of all, I love Olivia. Olivia's like she's like me, but like who makes a lot of money. Like she says exactly what she thinks. Like she tells me like, yo, Rio, like what are you doing? Like she doesn't baby me. She doesn't like give me a spoon and be like, eat from the spoon. Like she tells me what to do, and it's up to me to do it. And if I don't do it, it's my loss. Like so she doesn't like pressure me to do anything. Like she gives me my guidelines. If I don't follow it, it's on me. And she always pushes me. Like she pushes me to do it. If I don't do it, it's on me. So I really like Olivia. She has a really like different approach to coaching, because I've had mentors in the past, and like when I don't do things their way, like they try to manipulate me into thinking I'm stupid or something. But like her, like she's like, it's just your loss. Like I'm not gonna baby you. I'm not gonna coach you. I'm gonna tell you what to do. This would work for me. If you don't do it, it's your loss. And I really like that approach. So
yeah. So you there again, you looked at somebody's resume, you saw the deposits, and then you did it. And you know she's coachable because Erica coached her. And Erica's got her business model where she can make $10,000 in a week. Same with Olivia. It's crazy. And she's been getting coaching from them. And they've been plugging into the system, reading people's resumes, making assessments on people like Jeff Bright, Andy Riddle, Albright. Olivia had a situation, and I tried to solve it. We tried to get the carriers involved to solve it. Finally, we had to pull in the big guns with Jane Albright, and she's like, let me see what I can do. Sometimes, guys, it's not what you know, but who you know. And magically, a phone call was made, and it got fixed. Isn't that interesting? You think you know something. You think, I told her I looked into it, couldn't make it happen. The carrier rep said they couldn't make it happen. This person said they could. When we talked to Jane about it, and then a call was made, and it got fixed. It's unbelievable to me. So you're doing that. You spoke with Emily. You're reaching out. You have figured out that the wizard. There's other people out there who know some different stuff. Right?
yeah.
Like, I found it real comfortable, Rio, when I joined the Alliance, that one, it's not technical. Meaning, like, if Olga would have dragged me to that first meeting and they was get up there and start talking calculus and differential equations and physics and putting rockets on the moon and stuff, and orbital velocity, or computer code, or MS-DOS, C++, I'm out. I can't. No. We don't got to know college algebra. We don't even have to know long division. And if you do have to know multiplication, it's real that you can use this. Okay? You can use that. So I found that to be like in my mind, I was like, holy crap, if I have a question and I don't know the answer, I can call Andy Riddle or Fitz or Davies or Levin Tovich. Like I would get a lot of coaching from Levin Tovich in the beginning because his wife was just like my wife. They were two little peas, two little firecrackers, and got us guys in the business, and I would like, man, how do you deal with these girls that, don't listen, or how do you do with this or how do you do with that? And I found, like, when I had a question about my business, I didn't have to figure out how hot to put the grill at McDonald's or how long to cook the fries. Like, we got a business in a box, and I found that to be so stress relieving. Like, I didn't have to be the guy. You see what I'm saying? I didn't have to be the guy. You had sent me some questions for this call. How do you explain compensation was one of your questions to me when you recruit people. And what I tell them, I'll answer this one, and for you and for the Alliance Nation, the way I do it is what I tell them is real simple. I'm like, hey, man, our average client pays about $85, $100 a month. When you start out, you're going to make about $500 a pop. Different carriers have a different commission split for different products, but sometimes you'll make $700, sometimes you'll make $300. The average is about $500. And as your commission goes up, because we start at 55%, go to 140, you'll go up, you'll make more money. That's all I say. I don't get into, you get 6-month advance for this carrier and a 9-month advance for this carrier, and you got to, when people return stuff, you got to give the money back and all that kind of stuff. I don't get into all that. That's not what I do. You know what I'm saying? So, Rio, what I would tell you is when you put your hand to something, be it school or this education thing, when I look at you, Rio, I'm like, first off, Olivia and Eric are doing a great job with you. Keep listening to them. Keep reaching out to me. I remember you popped on I was doing interviews, and you popped on the Zoom call, and you jumped on there and started taking notes and listening and asking questions when the phone was ringing. You started recruiting at 17. You didn't wait to get your license to start building your business. That's what you're looking for, Rio, when you recruit. And what I would tell you, one of your question was, how do you get people to join your agency? Recruit a lot of them. And you're just the Pied Piper. Like, you're just the carnival barker out there singing your song, your one-hit wonder song, your interview song. And the people that gravitate towards it, talk with them. The ones that keep walking by and don't want to hear that tune, like Andre's heard at UFIT, when he heard that Primerica dude, he's like, that's interesting. And then the other guy that I talked to said, hey, man, you want life insurance? You got to talk with Jason. I know a dude. See, Andre, you know a dudette, Olivia and Erica, and you know me, and you know Albright now, and you know Andy Riddle. Like, you know the dude. You know the guy. You're hooked up with Steve Young, Brian Adams, and Andy Albright. That's your crew. Those are your people. That's your team. That's your coach. Those are the guys who are running the show. That's who you see. Every great leader is a great follower. Andy Albright still gets coaching. He still has people that pour into him. When he's got, when he has an issue, he's got people he reaches out to, guys. He follows his own logic in his own life. Pretty amazing. So the system that they put together, I found it to be extremely heartwarming, comfortable, sustaining, de-stressing. Rio, keep doing it, man. Proud of what you're doing, bro. That's what you're looking for in Andres and a Rio, guys, and that's really what you're looking for. Melody, And Colin, I don't know what you did to your husband to get him out of the picture. There he's back. Guys, what's up? Thank you for jumping on. Tell the Alliance, I know you guys, Jane and Andy Albright, I don't know what the flapjacks you guys were telling them, saying to them, I mean, I wasn't in that, room. I was in another room, but they came out of that room and were telling Rachel and Jared and me, you got to get to know Colin and Melody. You got to find out what this couple's all about. They are winners. They got the WANTTO. And I was like, who are these people? And I talked to Rachel and Jared. They're like, I've been telling you about him. I'm like, yeah, you have been. I'm like, okay. And then Albright's son. I'm like, what did you do to Andy and Jane Albright? So tell the people in Alliance Nation land on the Spooktacular Friday call after Halloween, tell the Alliance, your family life, your business life, how the Alliance finds you, and tell them.
Thanks for that question, Jason. Melody, I think you
want me to go first?
Sure.
First.
Okay, so let's see. I'll start with how I came to the Alliance, kind of. I had, right before COVID, I took a job selling Aflac, and that's business to business, all cold calling. You're walking into businesses. And I honestly don't know why I took that job. I think it was really just kind of a fate thing. And I learned, though, that you really can make money and pay your bills walking in businesses that weren't even expecting you and selling them insurance. And so I felt limited, though, because I was only selling from one carrier. Well, then COVID hit, and we couldn't sell Aflac in Alabama. There was one agent in Huntsville that was having any success. So I came back to Florida. I was only in Alabama for a short time, being with family after my brother died. That was the original plan. Anyway, came back to Florida, went back to bartending. And COVID had its own effects on the restaurant industry here. So I was getting real frustrated and getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then I was approached by my business partner through Aflac. He was working for an IMO. I don't remember the name of it. I went to a couple calls with him, and it just wasn't the vibe, like Andre said, about wherever he came from. I understand that. It just was not the vibe. So then I was just staying in restaurants. I decided to go into management, and then I was in corporate management. And that was even worse. That was probably the worst, lowest level of enjoyment I've ever had at a job. So I was just waiting at that time for something to happen. And then I was contacted by a friend who needed me to basically be an assistant. He was a producer for an IMO, and he needed me to be an assistant. And he was only selling 6 products from 2 different carriers, and he was making a lot of money. I'd known this man for about 20 years, and his fiance and I are practically related. We call each other cousins. So I was able to see there the potential working for an IMO. And while I was there, I was contacted by the Alliance, but I told them, I'm working for a family business. I don't know when I'll be done here, because it wasn't supposed to be forever anyways. But it was probably about a month later that I decided I didn't want to stay there anymore. And the Alliance called me again. And so I just said, I was so easy.
Was it the same person the first and second time, or was it 2 different?
It could have been the same, but it could have also been different.
So, and the second time was who?
I believe it was Alejandro.
Okay, so that was Rachel and Jared. That's their assistant.
Yes, it was Rachel and Jared. I hope I'm not giving credit to somebody.
No, you're fine.
So, I was just like, yeah, I am interested in that. Yes, I do have a license, let's set up this interview. And then I talked to Rachel, and she's so good at everything she does. So it was I just got carried into it, And then knowing them, Zanasia on our team, she made me feel so comfortable. She was so nice. It's just, they knew what they were doing. They have obviously listened to somebody intelligent telling them what to do, and they're also smart, So I've been looking for some people, because I want to be coached, but I am easy to coach when I know, when I've read your resume.
Would Colin say that you're easy to coach?
When I've read your resume, when you're qualified. So anyway, yeah, they've done such a good job coaching, because I can see that they are coachable as well. And like you said, a good leader is a good follower, So I'm seeing it practiced and preached all the way from the top, Andy, all the way down. And I just said, this is where I want to be. And Colin, I want you to come with me. And then Jared offered to pay for us to go to that conference. And I was like, we got to make this happen. Because I knew Colin would see it too. And then we'd both be all in and we could do this thing. So where I came from was mostly, as I told y'all a lot of it, but mostly it was bartending. And so for that reason, when I saw Megan Wood, I didn't even get to meet her at the conference, but when I saw her in the catalog about boot camp, I mean, you already know, I was like, okay, bartenders can do it, then I'm going to do it. And she continues to probably be my main source of inspiration, even though we haven't spoken. I just think about her. You know what I mean? I think about Megan Wood, and that she did this. She started off one day a week with she was a single mom too, because that's where I was. Yep, I was a single mom. I was a bartender. I know that life full well. And now she's the top producer in the United States. So I was like, okay, here we are. I found my place. It's only a matter of time. Just going to do what they tell me. Keep getting up, keep failing, keep trying again, and we're going to get there.
So what's your the family life?
So currently it's me and Colin. My kids are adults. My son just graduated Navy basic training. My daughter she went up to Missouri, Columbia for nursing school, but now she's decided to take a gap year. She's going to be traveling and stuff. So I talked to her on the phone a lot. I was on the phone with her before this call. Colin's family's in Jamaica. We talked to them also a lot, but the day-to-day is just me and him, which frees up a lot of time, because it wasn't that way for so long. It was just mostly me with my two kids living that struggle life. So, yeah, our family life is work right now.
I like it.
For sure.
Colin, when your wife got into this, are you licensed?
No, I'm not yet, but I am working on that. I'm currently doing the training course to get licensed. Yes, I am.
All right. And have you talked to the kids about this doing it? Family business?
Oh yeah, they know what we're doing.
Like
My daughter signed on under me. She hasn't gotten active yet, but she'll be really good at it. I'm just kind of playing the long game with her, I guess. And then my son is purchasing an IUL. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I was my first sale, and my son he'll be my first. No, he won't even be my first IUL sale, but he's in there. If you sell it to your family, it's even better than selling it.
Colin, I was talking to Rachel and Jared about you guys, you and Melody, and they said, Jason, you got to tell them we're super, super proud of both of them. Mm-hmm. That they are a power couple. Jane and Andy see it. They're united. They're a united front. They're God-fearing, and they got some good beliefs. And, you guys wrote $7,000 your first week after going 0 for 11 in the field. You get punched in the face. That's what you're looking for, Andres and Rio, when you recruit. People who get punched in the face, they fail the exam, and they retake it 2 or 3 days later or the next day or right away. I think that happened to Rio, guys. He failed the exam, took it right, signed up immediately, took it and passed it. So that's what you're looking for when you recruit. So you guys wrote 7,000 after you went 0 for 11. You're doing the Medicare stuff. You're already doing annuity stuff. You've got a $70,000 appointment for $70,000 annuity appointment, and you got 36 referrals your first week. Who told you to get referrals? Was that some kind of training, or who did that?
You hear it all the time in sales how important referrals are, but I watched Brian Rojas. Is that the video where how he gets his emergency response sheet filled with 15 names, and I just literally exactly copied him, and it worked. I got 15 names from 2 different people, y'all, and that was without pushing. So that was the only 2 that I even tried. It works.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brian, because I've already got a serious IUL appointment off one of those.
Wow. Colin, let me ask you this, Colin. Like,
Sure.
why you guys have got a varied resume. You're good with people. Restaurant people are good with people because you got to make that tip. You know what I mean? That's why Megan Wood does so good, because she's a chameleon. She knows how to put an avatar on. She knows how to read body language from across the bar. Okay? She knows if a couple comes in happy and they're super excited, or if they come in pissed at each other. Like, she knows how to read that body language. But Colin, like, why have you and Melody decided to go all in with the insurance versus everything else that's out there? Why insurance?
Well, I think the main thing that gave us that drive was the financial benefit that can be had from it, but also that it does take a level. It does give you a level of professional allow you to represent yourself professionally. So
I like the freedom. I like the freedom of it. We can make a lot of money without having to go into a brick and mortar building and be stuck there for whatever time somebody else told me to be there. Even like it might be slow, I still got to stand there smiling. I don't like that. I'm tired of that. Now I have potential to make money. And if there's no potential to make money, then if I want to, I can just not go. You know what I mean?
That's what got me, was the money. To be clear, I was like, I knew there was money in financial services because I was in it. It never got interested to me. It never occurred to me how much money there was on that side of the coin in insurance. And I was already in that industry. And when I found out, guess what happened? It became more interesting. I wanted to find out more about it. Now, it just so happens that these are awesome products that help people not lose their house when their spouse dies. I was like, it does that? That's awesome. I'm doing that kind of work. That's a side hustle. That's a side benefit. I love that too. That became super interesting to me. You see? And what Colin said is you're able to be a professional. It's hard to be a professional waiter. There are professional waiters, and they're awesome at their job. I love them. I've been to some restaurants, and these waiters make $100,000, $120,000 a year. I'm trying to sell them an IUL. When I go down some of these restaurants in Miami, these guys are not broke. They got a professional waiter circuit. I don't know if you guys know this. They have around the world. They have a professional Aspen, Germany, Miami. These professional waiters will go around the world, and they make money. But I didn't want to do that. Like, I wanted a professional job where I could sit down, meet with people, and help them out.
For sure.
I do love that we actually are helping people too. Of course, that really does fuel me. And I like talking to the elderly people.
That's the icing on the cake, ain't it?
Yes, it's the icing on the cake.
What do you do? And I tell people now, what I do is I save families from losing their home. We got this thing called mortgage protection, man. This is something that mom and dad pay for. One of them dies. We send a check to pay off their house. It's awesome. And you make about $500 a pop every family you help. How many you want to help this week? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Yeah. This is what you're looking for, guys, when you recruit. And if you don't have an Andres, a Rio, a Colin, a Melody, keep working with them. Be nice, but spend the appropriate amount of time with them. That's what you got to learn to do. You got to learn to filter and sort your time and energy and psychological energy, because if Rio gets hung up on the guy that he brought and that's all he thinks about, how do you recruit a lot of people? Recruit a lot of them. Remember, most of them are going to quit. You got to get okay with it. But it doesn't take but about 5 to 7% to stick, like a Melody and a Colin, and Andres and a Rio, and Emily Katz and a Jason and Olga Mathis, a Terry and a Tia, a Mia, and the thousands and thousands of other people versus the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that have quit, for you to go out there and start helping families with these awesome products. Guys, it's 11 o'clock. Listen, we've got National Convention coming up January. Make sure you get there. I tell everybody this. The way I got rich in this business is by going to these national events. This is what you got to do, guys. You got to read books, you got to listen to audio, and you got to get around the people that are making the money to whatever you want to put your hand to make money. Reading books and listening to audio is cheap, easy, it's convenient. You can put it in your car, in your ear when you're working out. You can play it in the shower, do all that stuff. It's that third one. It's the getting around. It's going to national convention, NBC, boot camp. It's getting around what Rio did and Andres and Melody and Colin have done. Getting out there and meeting those people, getting their phone numbers, talking to them, introducing yourself to those people to let them know who you are and you want to be a student. So guys, thank you for jumping. Yes, Colin.
I just wanted to add that also it's very important to listen to your upline. Like, you know, sometimes you feel like you not want to reach out to them. You feel embarrassed about the process you're doing, or you think that you may be having a stupid question. Like, you know, just always reach out to your upline. Like, they want to help. Like, they feel like they're just not working enough when you know, they feel
Jared
like you
told
don't
me I didn't
care.
call him enough.
You
Jared
know?
said, Melody, you do not call me
So,
enough.
like, let them get tired. Let them tell you not to call them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just reach out to them. You know, anything.
Hey, Albright said the same thing about me.
Oh,
I didn't call
wow.
him enough. So,
Oh, wow.
guys, thank you for jumping on the Friday Spooktacular Activity Call. Alliance Nation, we're out. Have a great Friday. Ciao.
Thanks, Jason.
Wow.
See you guys.